All right, you guys. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. Talk Tuesday. Tonight we have Brian Doria with the Hot Sauce Band. Well-known band out here in local band out here in Las Vegas. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us tonight and giving us your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys, you as I was walking, so on Wednesday nights I walked the strip, and how I met you and ran
Uh-huh.
into you. I I was I was at Old Red, and I was like standing outside of Old Red, and then I heard your music, and I
Uh-huh.
actually came into Old Red because usually I walk by and I listen, but I was drawn into your music
Oh, thank
and
you.
I came in there. But then I didn't meet you right then. So then after I did my whole walking thing, and then on my way out, that's when I bumped into you as we were both walking towards the horseshoe.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm so glad that I listened to you and heard you, and then ran into you.
Well, yeah, I was on the way out, and that's when we met. I think I was on my way to my
Yeah,
car, and then that's when you said, "Hey, was that you up there?" I was like, "Yes, that was me."
yes, as and I love the woman. What is she playing? A violin? I'm going to show you guys his band at Old Red in a minute. But
Yeah, that's Monique, and
okay,
she plays in the Raider band, and she's shared the stage with Beyonce, Tony Braxton. She's played with Aerosmith when they were here in town.
mm-hmm.
And I think she did a run with Boys to Men out at the Hollywood Bowl a couple
Oh
months ago, and she plays with us.
yes. Well, since we're talking about it, let me share this screen. I want to share two things. But let's share. So your hot sauce band is playing on the strip, and usually you can go Old Red or Jason Aldean, right?
Right.
And when are you at Old Red before I showed it? When you guys play at Old Red?
It's different. We never, the schedule's
Yeah.
never set, but the majority of the time, we've been there Wednesday night, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Okay.
And we've been there on Fridays, 3 to 7 or 7 to 11.
Okay.
Lately, we've been there on Sundays, 6 to 10 p.m. And we've been at Jason Aldeen's on Saturdays. You could catch us there 4 to 8 p.m.
Four to
at
eight.
Jason Aldeen's. Yeah, yeah. So Wednesdays 10 to 2 p.m. or 10 to 2 a.m. Sunday 6 to 10 p.m. and
Oh,
Aldeen's 4 to 8 p.m. And you
okay.
might catch us on a Friday also. Yeah.
Well, let me show a glimpse, you guys. You know how I always like to do. Let me come in here. I guess I'm wrong. Just don't belong again. Everything's alright. I'm just getting down and I show myself to go home. I can be on the big sea. You me an hour and then I'll be tired that ivory tower. That's your little day. They love it, Brian. They love it there.
It's a good time.
Yes, yes. Love it. Let
Yeah,
me
they get
come
they
on.
get they
Let
get a
me.
little wild around there.
Yes. Let me come in.
Yeah.
Let me come back. So yes, that's your band. How long? When did you guys start your band? How long you guys been together? You guys have
Uh,
a little red.
yeah. This band here, we started back in I think around 2019, pre-pandemic,
Okay.
and I was down on Fremont playing at a Mickey Finn's, a little restaurant there, and the band I was playing in, those guys were at that restaurant for 13 years, or since it had opened back in 2008, somewhere around there. Anyway, those guys were leaving, and they were leaving town. One of the guys was going back to Washington State, and the other guy was going back to Cleveland. And so they asked me if I had a band, and I lied, I didn't, but I knew some guys that I could throw together,
Okay.
and so they said, "What's the name of the band?" And I knew I was working in the restaurant, so I just kind of threw it together, and I came up with something really quick that had a little pop to it that was relative to the restaurant industry. And so I
Mm-hmm.
said, the name of my band is Hot Sauce. And so that's how Hot Sauce came about, and then we started playing at the Plaza and the Tuscany, and we started catching momentum, and then the pandemic hit, you know, and so I think we all know what happened there. So then we resumed back in 2021, back at Mickey Finn's in
Okay.
Hennessy's Tavern.
Mm-hmm.
But we were there, and as things were able to open up, we started playing almost every day at Mickey Finn's, if you will. And
Okay.
that's where we threw the show together.
Okay.
That's where actually now what we're doing at Old Red is what we were doing at Mickey Finn's 3-4 years ago, 7 nights a week,
Mm-hmm.
but we were slowly piecing it together. And so we did that. And then Old Red, opened, what was it, maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we, we started playing Old Red, and then Jason Aldeen's opened, I believe, what was it, maybe 6 months ago, or 8 months,
Yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah.
so we started playing there. So basically, what we were doing on Fremont, we just basically kind of sharpened up the ends and tied it together, created more of like a show that was a little more cohesive and moved a little faster. As you see, Old Red is a bigger establishment. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just really go in there and ask the crowd what they want to hear.
Right.
You can do that, but you also have to have something prepared, in case they don't feel like telling you what they want to hear that day.
Right.
So, so the band's been successful, but it was earned. We did our time there on Fremont, 7 nights a week. We played to nobody at
Mm-hmm.
times. It was just a bartender at times, and the staff that were equally frustrated because no one's making money. So, but we were there, and we persevered, and we did our music every night, and luckily the staff liked us, and the compliments that they gave us, is what would keep us going.
Very good. So a question here, and it's jumping off. Like, did you play during F1? Were you guys out there during the F1?
Yeah, we played Wednesday night, 10 to 2 a.m., and then we played Thursday. We had to show up. We played Old Red 10 to 2 a.m., and then we came home real quick, and we grabbed a sandwich, and then we went back and we played 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Um,
So, and there was some traffic. It was hectic, but once you get to know the route, it's just another thing. But yeah, we
yes.
were happy to see it go. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I was down there.
Sorry, F1. Sorry to all the F1 sponsors and all that, man. I really love the
Yeah.
cars, and your jackets are really colorful and cool, but man, that straight shot on Flamingo, you're killing me with that, bro.
I was on the. I had some guests in town last night, and I was on the strip, just the beginning, and oh my God, by Mandalay Bay, which the race did not come down that far, but it was because there, when they start closing the lanes on the strip and moving
Yeah,
people, and it was just like, oh my God, get out of here.
yeah. Well, the
So
thing is, we had a show, and if it's 6 p.m. or 10 p.m. and you're stuck in traffic, it's 5:30, and you got to be on stage in 20 minutes. The people don't care that F1 is in town.
yeah,
When it's showtime, it's showtime.
it's showtime. It's
They
showtime.
don't they don't they don't care about that traffic.
And let me post his Instagram. You can find Hot Sauce Band Las Vegas. That's where you'll find him and the Hot Sauce Band. On YouTube, you go at Brian Doria is where you
Yes.
will find him. And then I really wanted to say too, you can go to your website, briandoria.com, and that's where you can find out information about your band, your music, and tell us again your platforms where your music's at.
Oh, you can find my music on Spotify and Apple Music. Just type in my name. Yeah.
Brian Doria.
And if you want a physical copy of the CD, you could go to briandoria.com and order it off of Amazon, and they'll send it to you in the mail. I don't know, within maybe 7 to 10 days.
Yes. And I'm going to show your music video in a minute, but can they, you can download your music video as well on Spotify and Apple Music and all that kind of thing?
I'm not sure about downloading the video.
Okay.
That's a good question, actually. I wonder if that's accessible on YouTube. But they could definitely download the song on Spotify and Spotify and Apple Music. But that might be something for the future to be able to download the videos that we have on our site. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, because
I know you can purchase movies on YouTube, but the actual individual video, I don't know.
Because I'm going to show your video, and it's so nice. It was shot good. As whoever did your shooting for your video, very professional, and
that's Raul. That's my buddy Raul. And a quick story with Raul: he was working a regular job, and my brother-in-law, I believe, was working and he was delivering because my brother-in-law has a trucking business. And Raul told my brother-in-law he was into into shooting film and stuff like that. At that particular time, I told my brother-in-law I wanted to shoot some videos to my songs. So he says, well, I know this guy, and so we got together and we shot like 5 or 6 videos, just him and I, and my brother-in-law came to town and we kind of just threw everything together, and Raul ended up, coming into his own and becoming a videographer and doing basketball games in Houston. I mean, just doing all kinds of videography.
Right.
And that's kind of where it all started. So shout out to Raul out there.
And so, you guys, as you know, Brian is from Houston. And so did you come directly from Houston to Vegas, or?
No, I was born in Houston. And then when I was 9 years old, I grew up in Houston, breakdancing, did all the urban stuff. And then when I was 9 years old, my mother got tired of the city. My dad's a musician. His family were all musically inclined. I have cousins that are great drummers and they sing way better than I do. I mean, they do a lot of stuff better than me. But it's in the family. Grew up in church, and my dad was playing 6 nights a week. And so my mother just got tired of probably the city life. Everything was just, I don't know, too loud, maybe too fast. And we moved to the country, which is 70 miles southeast of Houston, El Campo, Texas. And that's where the country music, that's where I was playing baseball in the summers. And that's where the George Strait comes in. And that's where I started kind of getting acquainted with country music, if you will. And so I went to school there, graduated out of high school, went back to Houston, and went to college for a couple of years. And then that's whenever I joined a band to open up for La Mafia for a year. And then I ended up joining La Mafia after that year for about 5 years. Yeah.
Yes. So I want to talk about that La Mafia experience, but the question is, since we're talking about getting into country, and what is your favorite genre? Is it country? And where did you start? There's a couple of questions in there. What's your favorite genre? And obviously you didn't start in country.
I mean, Tejano music is country in a weird way, which Tejano music is a certain kind of music that is kind of derived from, I would say, probably German polka, Czechoslovakian music, right? And Tejano music is very prominent in Texas. You can hear it everywhere, which is kind of based out of San Antonio and the Valley. And so it's accordion music with accordion, button accordion, and a bajo sexto, and a bass and drums. And so I grew up listening to that music, really. And jazz music, also Nat King Cole, Unforgettable, Frank Sinatra, because my dad also played jazz music as well. So when I was living in Houston, all the standards, all the jazz standards, when the oil boom was happening, he was playing 6 nights a week. So they were doing all that stuff, The Shadow of Your Smile, Misty, all that jazz trio combo stuff. So I was listening to Tejano music. I was listening to jazz trio combo music. I was listening to country music because all my exes live in Texas. Even though you play in a jazz trio combo, you're going to play that song also on the
Right,
gig.
right,
So
right.
all my exes live in Texas, country or not. I was listening to that when I was 1 year old because even if you're in a jazz band, you're playing that song that night
Mhm.
in Houston, Texas.
Houston.
So when I moved to El Campo, all it did was I just got deeper into the music. Is really what happened.
Okay.
And went to my dad's band was down there playing Tejano music, also playing a lot of George Strait, a lot of Clint Black, um, that kind of stuff. And then moved back to Houston, and that's when I went to college back in Houston. I ended up getting a scholarship because my dad was playing a gig in Houston, and I was 18 years old, and I had no idea where I was going to school. And so I was loaded in, and the professor of percussion studies just so happened to be on drums that evening playing. And he asked me, "Where are you going to college?" And I said, "I don't know." He goes, "Well, come to U of H." So that's how I ended up going to the University of Houston. He heard me play a song, and I got a scholarship that night. And
Wow.
I showed up to the campus a couple weeks later. Sorry for jumping around here.
We
I
love
don't even know where I'm at.
No, you're
In the
good.
story
We're
here.
talking. So Renee asks, "What's your favorite song to sing?"
What's my favorite? The last song of the night. Now, what? In all seriousness, what do I like? I like singing love songs.
Okay.
I don't know much about love, but I know how to sing about it. And I like watching two people while I'm singing come together and stare at one another and dance with one another, and you could tell their passion and feeling for one another. I
Hmm.
like being able to facilitate that and sing to that. To
Yeah.
me, out of my day, out of all the things I do, that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I just have to say, to be able to sing Neon Moon and watch a couple get up from the table and embrace one another and stand right in front of me, that makes me want to sing it to my fullest potential, to
Hmm.
give them that deep moment, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so I'm able to feel that energy off of them. Now, did I say I was in love? No, I didn't say that. See? I said I like singing
Yes.
and
Right.
facilitating that.
Right. Right. So tell
So
us.
yeah.
So let's go back now. We talked about La Mafia, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have performed in La Mafia, part of La Mafia, and you also have performed with Sheena Easton
Yeah.
too. Both are Grammy Award winning. So how was that experience? When did that happen? And the Sheena Easton, yeah,
Yeah.
tell
Yeah,
us
I
about
know. I know. I
that.
know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And you did your homework. You did your homework. I see. All right. Well, let's go back to La Mafia.
Hmm.
My father played with La Mafia before he started playing those jazz gigs back in the mid 70s, before I was even born, right? So their older brother went into a music store and asked my father to kind of throw a band together for Oscar and Leonard, which are two brothers.
Okay.
And after a while, my father, left and decided to go on his own road. Anyway, when we lived in El Campo, every time La Mafia would come to town to play,
Hmm.
they would look my dad up and we would go to their sound checks because my dad used to play with them. There was no bad blood.
Yeah.
It's just he went on to move on.
Right.
As a child, I would go with my father and go to their sound checks and watch the whole thing, just watch them come to town and light up the whole city. You know what I mean? The buses, the trucks, the 18 wheelers, the girls chasing them at Walmart while they're doing their autograph signing, the whole nine. I was there. I
Right.
got to go on the bus. I was one of them. I was just 8 years old, but I was able to do that because my dad used to play with them.
Yes.
The drummer that played with them was a friend of my father's that they played together in the jazz scene. So he ended up playing with La Mafia. So he kind of took me under his wing, and would every time they came to town, he would turn me on to different music like Chick Corea and a lot of jazz legends and stuff like that. So yeah, mind you, I was listening to country music and all that while I was in El Campo, but I was also turned on to Chick Corea and all this other stuff because these guys that were playing with La Mafia, they also sought out other music that was not just Tejano music. They sought out jazz fusion stuff and whatever other musicians seek out. Just because they play with a certain band doesn't mean that's all they play, right? We're musicians. It's universal.
Yeah.
So later on in life, I went to college where that Mr. Professor Sparks, Marvin Sparks,
Okay.
shout out to Professor Sparks out there,
Mhm.
gave me a shot to go to college here, which Terrion Gully was a junior there. If you don't know who Terrion Gully is, he's one of the best jazz drummers right now, renowned drummers in the world, played with Christian McBride, played with a lot of people. Anyway, he was a junior there. And he was one of Prof. Sparks' understudies. That prof, who's from Illinois, brought Terrion down from East St. Louis to study at the University of Houston. So I showed up, and there was Terrion, and so, oh man, I just, from coming from a country small town to
Right.
running into one of the best jazz drummers in the world, that's a junior and
Mhm.
already seasoned and ready to go take on the world. Let me tell you, that's something.
Yeah.
It's jaw dropping. That's what
Right.
it is. Enough to make you want to go home and cry, right? And not out of sadness, just out of
Yeah.
frustration, knowing that you have a long way to go if you want to go, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, after a couple years of studying there, the drummer of La Mafia called me because La Mafia was producing a CD for an upcoming artist that Sony had just signed under them, right? His name was Carlos Miranda. His father was a renowned Mexican singer. Anyway, we went on tour with La Mafia. Uh, they dropped the artist after a year. I was going back to Houston to go back to school because I had only done 2 years. Anyway, La Mafia had just recorded Unión de Rosas, which won a Grammy, and Carl Perazzo, the percussionist of Santana, recorded percussion on that particular album.
Wow.
Well, I went to their rehearsal before I was going to enroll back into college, and I went to their rehearsal, and something happened where the drummer had to leave, so I finished rehearsal on drums with them because Mike invited me because he said they might be looking for a percussionist. So that night, Mondo, who's the musical, the guy behind everything, right?
Right.
He goes, "Do you have any percussion stuff?" And I go, "Yeah." I lied. It was scattered all over Houston and El Campo. He goes, "Well, come back tomorrow and and see how it feels. We'll see what it." So I drove to El Campo that night to get some congas. I borrowed some bongos from another friend. I borrowed all kinds of stuff, and I showed up the next day with the setup. And it just so happened they had a show in Houston the next night, and it was Houston Thursday, New York Friday, and Mexico City Saturday night. I mean,
You were hustling.
so I went. I got my stuff. We played Thursday night. After the gig Thursday night, Mondo said it felt good. He goes, "Do you want to go on tour with us?" I said, "Sure."
Wow.
I had to fly out to New York the next morning, and I was in Mexico City Saturday night. And Sunday, I think I went back to Houston, and I don't know what happened. 5 years, and then 5 years went by.
Wow.
So that's how I ended up. That's how I ended up in La Mafia. Recorded a few albums with them. I learned how to work in the studio. I learned the process. I learned how to live life on the road. But most importantly, I learned how to work in the studio, and I learned how to record. And that's how I was able to record my own stuff.
Your stuff, right. And the Sheena Easton, because Sheena Easton, Dave mentioned to me that she does some country, I guess. I knew her back in the day when she dated Prince and did the James Bond For Your Eyes
For
Only.
Your Eyes Only. I used to watch that on TV as a child. I never knew I'd be playing it with her in Malaysia. 20 years later.
Yes.
It's crazy.
So did you guys duet? What was the Sheena?
How did that happen? Okay.
Yes, Sheena Easton.
Well, now by this time it's 2005. I've already moved to Las Vegas. Now, how did I move to Las Vegas? Well, I came out here to sub with a band that we threw together in Houston to sub for a lady that was a headliner at the Bellagio at the Fontana Lounge back 1998 to 2011. Little did I know we drove up in 2003 to sub for her. She wanted to take 2 weeks off. So a bunch of guys from Houston and Andy Vargas, the lead singer of Santana, it was his band.
Okay.
We drove up here to back him up. And so the lady was Diane Diaz was her name. So she saw me playing drums with Andy. And that's how she said, I would like you to play drums in my band. And so I went back to Houston, and then I came back, and that's how I moved to Vegas. I joined Diane Diaz. Right.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's how that happened, right? So little did I know, 10 years prior to that, I was watching Diane Diaz sing background for Luis Miguel at the Alamo Dome in 1995. While I was watching Luis Miguel in concert, little did I know I was watching my future boss singing backgrounds for Luis Miguel in 1995 before I even joined La Mafia. It's crazy. Life is crazy. Anyway, so I joined Diane Diaz, and I played with her. We were at the Fontana Lounge 5 nights a week. Well, now I'm starting to record my own music now.
Okay.
Now I'm starting to write. Now I'm done with La Mafia. Now I'm playing with Diane. I got a regular gig. I'm making money. Now it frees me up to be creative now. I have my foundation of money. I've already played with La Mafia, so I know the recipe. I just need to have the talent. Am I a songwriter or not? Well, it turns out I am. So I wrote some songs, and I went to a studio. The Killers bought it. It's a Killer studio now.
Okay.
Anyway, back then it was owned by a gentleman named Pat Caddick, and he had a bunch of great musicians from LA working out of that studio. So I was working in that studio as well on my personal music.
Okay.
It just so happened Sheena Easton was working out of that studio as well with Pat.
Okay.
Now, Sheena said, I have a gig in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I need to put a band together. Pat said, there's a bunch of great musicians here, and I could throw a band together for you. So he asked Paul Pesco, who actually started Madonna, together. I was at dinner in Kuala Lumpur, and I go, can I ask you a question? And he's like, yeah, what? I go, were you on that video with Madonna, dressed you up in My Love and La Isla Bonita? And all the other guys started laughing, and he's like, yeah, that's me. I fanned out totally at dinner. Anyway, that was when I was with Sheena.
Wow.
I fanned out. So it was Paul Pesco, Gabriel Rosales, who played with George Lynch and the Lynch Mob and J-Lo. Another dude, Matt Rohde, on piano, who was the MD of the American Idol band. Philip Ingram, who was James Ingram's brother. Okay. I mean, Jerry Murrah, another sax player, and then me.
Wow.
So anyway, Pat was like, yo, I need to throw a band together, because I was in a session with my music. And I was like, all right, well, we're taking 2 weeks off from Diane. I can fly to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia while we're off, because it just so happened we were off 2 weeks at the Bellagio. And I can make it happen. And so I learned Sheena's music, and that's how I did that hit with Sheena, by working out of that studio.
Wow.
And Paul and all those other guys were working out of that studio with their own personal music. And so we were all thrown together to go do that run for Sheena.
Wow.
That's how that happened. Yeah.
Right. So, my God, what an experience. And it just seems like you musicians, how you guys just
jump from tree to tree.
Yeah, when you come together and you move.
But the dots connect, though. As time goes on, you look back. I didn't know I was going to be playing with Diane 10 years. I mean, just life is God is very tricky.
Absolutely.
He's sneaky old fella. Take it from me.
And I want to share, let me share this one. I want to share your music video. So you know what video I'm going to share. Tell us a little bit about this before I share it.
This is a song titled Rosemary Diaz. It's about when I was a sophomore in high school down in El Campo, Texas. Thanksgiving weekend happened, and it's weird that we're talking about this, and it's Thanksgiving. Okay, that just got me real quick. Anyway, yeah, that snuck up on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah, wow. Anyway, we showed up back to school, and Rosemary didn't show up. So a week went by, her desk was still empty. A year went by, 2 years went by. We thought she might have ran off with her boyfriend. And since Mexico's the neighboring, country, she might have ran through there, or we didn't know what happened. So as every 5 or 10 years would go by, they would put a picture of her in the local paper of what she would look like as she was 20, 25, 30, 35. And so 25 years to the date, it happened in 1990. In 2015, on Thanksgiving weekend, it's weird that we're talking about this, and Thanksgiving is Thursday. This is all Rosemary. I can feel it right now. Anyway, 25 years to the date, the guy that, I don't know if he committed the crime or knew who committed the crime, he was on his deathbed from cancer, and he said, "I know where she's buried."
Wow.
And so he sent the people, the cops, everybody who was the search team, to the place, and they had to excavate because there was a lot of grass and a lot of stuff around that area. Anyway, they dug it up and they found the bones, and the way they were able to identify her was 2 weeks prior to her abduction. When she was 15, her parents bought her a Purple Heart-shaped stone ring, and that Purple Heart-shaped stone ring was right there where the bones were.
Wow.
And that's why I put that in that song, right?
Wow.
And so the thing is, her mother, they didn't speak, really wasn't fluent probably in English, and probably couldn't really be real vocal about her daughter being abducted, because you could possibly, who knows, these days you get ICE hits you up if you're walking on the side of the street, much less 30 years ago. If she goes to them, they might be like, "Yo, where's your," who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, she had to endure it quietly. Well, not anymore. So this song here is for her, and the song is for Rosemary, and her mother sent me a video saying thank you and for keeping her name alive.
Okay.
And that church right there, that's the church where we all used to go. That's where Rosemary went to get her, the what's it called, the Catholics. I'm not Catholic, so what, I don't know. What do? You go to catechism and all that. Anyway, that's the church that it all took place at. That's where my grandpa took me to church and all that.
All right. Well, no further ado, let's play. Let me get it to play.
All I saw was an empty chair. All I saw was an empty chair. Rosemary Diaz went to my high school, disappeared for 25 years. No one could find her. We thought she ran away. Her family shed many tears until this one man made a confession to the day after 25 years. They found a ring at the site, Purple Heart-shaped stone. Now she can lay to rest. Rosemary Diaz. Somewhere I know you're free. Rosemary Diaz. You finally found Rosemary Diaz. Somewhere I know you're free. Rosemary Diaz. You finally found your peace. Finally found your peace. Somewhere I know you're free. Finally found your peace.
Wow. Let me come back. Wow. Beautiful song.
Yeah, I've also had, sheriffs reach out to me and was like, "Yo, man, when you come back into Texas, I'd like to have lunch with you. I got to tell you about the story. There's so much more to it."
Okay.
I haven't been able to get, I just wrote the song,
Yeah.
and what was inspired me. But there's a lot to the story. There's a whole, if you type her name in and Google it, you could go down a whole rabbit hole tonight. There's 4 different chapters of all kinds of stuff, and but at the end of the day, she's done, she's moved on. The song's there, and that's what it is.
Right. And what a blessing that you have, I'm sure, been to her family and her memory, right? What a
I
blessing.
have to say, out of all the songs that I've written, I think probably songs like this give me the most satisfaction, because for some, I don't know, I think it helps her memory live on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of, written the right way, I think it helps the family also, as opposed to having to shout out, do you remember, like,
Yeah.
there's the song right there.
Right.
It's a done deal.
Right.
Nothing else has to be said. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know, well, you can find out,
And when did you produce this? When did you produce the video, the song? When did you produce this? What year
this was 2017.
Okay.
And it's funny, I had a buddy of mine who was in and out of prison one time. He came and visited me, right? And it was around this time when I was about to release this song, around 2017. And he asked me, he goes, "Who wrote this song? You or God? Like, how did you come to this?" And I was like, God did, dude. I'm just a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a vehicle. Because if it was me, that was the mastermind
Mm-hmm.
and the manipulator and the dude who could cash in on the right time, well, I would have wrote it on the anniversary.
Yeah. Right.
Hello.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes.
So may that gentleman rest in peace. He probably had to hear it. He hung himself last year on Christmas Eve. And that was my buddy Servando Morales. But he came to my place and he asked me who wrote that song.
Yes.
And he said, "Did God do it or did you do it?" I said, "God did it. If I would have done it, whoever would have done it would have tried to orchestrate something. You can't orchestrate that kind of stuff."
Absolutely. So, and I heard you mention God a couple of times as we're talking, and I know you mentioned in church, right? Did you play in church? You got the church background?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I don't really belong to any religion.
Okay.
I'm not in any gangs, right?
Yes.
Because my mother's side, they were Catholic, and my father's side, they were like apostolic. So one would be like, "What are you gonna do? Go over there and sit down and stand up and sit down and stand up?" And then the other ones would be like, "What are you gonna do? Go get the Holy Ghost and spin around like a weirdo?" So I was like, "Nah, I like both of y'all. Like, I'm just gonna go do my thing." So I've always kind of connected with God in my own way.
Yes.
I've been accepted in both churches. I just wasn't able to go eat that crazy cracker bread in the Catholic place.
Yes.
And I never spun around and spoke in tongues at the other place. But I'm connected. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I used to get up on my father's side without being funny about God or no blasphemy or anything like that. I meant all of that in a very funny way. But aside from being funny about God and religion and all that, my grandfather was a minister. So that's why that seed and all my cousins and all them, he had his own church. So I was able to go up and play over there because, I was one of the cousins that played. So yeah, I played in church. We all did.
Yes. Right.
Because it was my grandfather's. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you play? And I know, like in school, you did percussion, drums, right?
Yeah.
Was that with you before you went? So was that your?
That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much been my instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Drums and percussion. When I write my music, it's on the piano. But I'm not a great piano player. Like I'm not like Billy Joel or anything like that. Like if you see me live, I'm gonna have another piano player playing the song. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So with the Hot Sauce Band, so you guys, when you're out there on the strip, is it all country, or do you guys slip in some other like genre?
We it's not all country. We do we'll do like we'll do some Sugar Ray, or we'll do some Four Non Blondes or some Killers, Mr. Brightside. We do Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Stuck in the Middle with You, Jerry Rafferty, some feel good music. But it's a country venue.
Yes,
and
yes.
There are some purists that when they sit down and they eat their mashed potatoes, they want to hear a country song. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give it to them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Where I'm from, yeah, we played jazz music. We played Unforgettable by Nat King Cole, but All My Exes from Texas was the next song. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Thank God I'm from Texas. You know what I mean? Like, because down there in Houston is a big gospel scene. So there's a big gospel, big funk, big country. Like, you can't get away from anything down there. So really, yeah, there's a lot of good musicians down in Texas.
Baby Love is actually, she goes, and I don't know this. She goes, I love this song, One More Chance.
One More Chance? Yeah.
And the video. Now, I don't know that song, so tell me, is that your song?
That song was filmed in Santa Monica, California in 2005, 2004, 2005, I think. And it's a true story. When I first moved here, I had the hots for a girl, and we drove to Santa Monica, to the beach, to the pier, and all of that. But it was weird because when we were sitting on the beach, this gust of wind came and blew us away. Like, sand was everywhere, and it was nothing romantic about it, So it was almost like a sign, like, yo, like, it's not meant to be, So I was really into it, really into her. We went to the beach and did all that, but it's a breakup love song, and it says everything, baby, por favor. Being Latin, I can mix in some bilingual words in some of my music. Baby, por favor, give me one more chance. That's it.
Very nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. Is that in your library?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube.
On the YouTube, okay.
And and I like when Raul and I believe Raul was loading at the loading dock at Home Depot. Okay. And my brother was delivering to him because he has a trucking business. I think that's how this started, right? And so that's when Raul was showing my brother-in-law these little clips of what he was doing. Anyway, that's how Raul and I started working together. Anyway, on these videos, I like to create mini movies. Okay. So if you see before One More Chance, there's actually a girl and I acting out, I like the videos from the 80s, when there used to be a small, like, Thriller. Yeah. Michael, they went to the cinema before he turned into a wolf. You know what I mean? Like, so I like those. I like the mini movie videos. Right. I like 80s movies. Yeah.
Nice. So Renee said that she heard you do the cover of Hall & Oates in a clip, and she was very impressed that you guys did some Hall & Oates.
Yeah. No. We do all kinds of stuff. I, aside from playing Old Red and Aldeen's, before these places started popping up, I've done all kinds of music. Prince and Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, Chili Peppers, Hall & Oates, Steely Dan. When I first moved here, all of those musicians were from that era. So we were doing Earth, Wind and Fire. We were doing Toto. We were doing all that stuff that I wasn't really familiar with. But if I wanted to eat and make money and keep my job, I better get familiar with it, right?
Yes.
And let me tell you, some of these musicians that were in the band, in Diane's band, when I first moved here, let me just throw his name out there. I'm going to put him on blast right now. Derek Murdoch. We played together, bass player, for about a year and a half before he moved on to the Tonight Show band with Kevin Eubanks. I mean, so you know what I'm saying? That's the caliber. I had to go from La Mafia to Tonight Show, which kind of tough. La Mafia is cool and all, but Tejano music is a little different than
than
the pop music. Yeah,
the pop
American pop. Yeah.
Yes. And a question for you, Brian, is you have a great voice, and you do. Did you have singing lessons? Is it natural to you?
Wow, great question, man. You hit me. You hit me right in the heart. Whoever that is. Let me tell you. Back in 2002, La Mafia had to let me go because I didn't want to take the drum chair. It got kind of weird, right? Remember the drummer friends with me?
Yes, yes.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
So anyway, I started playing in town and in Houston before I moved out here. And the singer of that band that we were playing with was still at La Mafia. So when they went out of town, we couldn't play. So anyway, one night their plane was late and they weren't going to land in time.
The show go on.
The show has to go on, right? Well, who was the next guy in line? Me. So what did I do? I said, all right, guys, bring me a couple tequilas and a couple beers and let's get it going, right? And that was it. That's when it started. But be very careful. I ended up having an alcohol problem in 2009 to 2014, really bad. And I had to abandon alcohol and I had to relearn how to sing sober. I had to relearn how to talk to people, how to meet the significant others. I had to relearn all that. So be very careful when you throw something, a Band-Aid on a cut. Sometimes it might be best to just go out there and do it on the first time. So
raw. So was it like was it the nervousness or was it
oh, you don't even know. Like it's so nerve-wracking. It's a feeling in your stomach and you're short of breath while you're up there in front of people. But if you show that you're scared, you're done. I remember one time, and this was early in the career, we did a 15-year-old quinceañera, and while I was singing, the girl was crying to her mother to tell us to stop. She was like, mommy, please tell them to stop. I don't know if it was because I was so bad or if they wanted the DJ to go back on, but either way, I took that personal, and wherever she's at, I'm still upset at you. How old is she now? She's probably, let's see, that was in she's probably 45 years old now, 40 years old.
Right. So
I'm still upset though.
Even like tonight, and I know when you said the butterfly, I don't get the butterflies and the stomach thing, probably like going on stage, but even like before speaking with you, before I do a live, I get this, oh God, I go through this inner thing.
Yeah. Where like you just got off a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like
the more you do it, the less you think about it.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, you just gotta it turns into like when you start doing it so much where next thing you know you're just getting dressed and you're just eating and then you leave the gig and you go home. Now I don't even think about it. Like,
okay.
Now I'm driving to the gig. I'm like, hey, what's up, son? And on top of that, the venue, they know what they're gonna get also.
Yes.
So you just have to jump through it. You have to really love what you're doing.
And walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
But you really have to, you have to ask yourself, are you doing it for notoriety? Are you doing it for egocentric purposes? Or are you doing it because you simply love it? Now, when you simply love it, that is what's going to take you through those nights when you're playing for just a bartender who's miserable because he's not selling any drinks or making any money, or you're singing and there's other people outside singing on the street while you're singing and you can't even hear yourself and the crowd can't even hear you, but because they're so loud outside. When you love what you do, that will carry you through those moments.
Right.
And the people that don't and they do it for egocentric purposes, they'll all fall off on the side. And you'll see it.
Yes.
You'll see it.
Absolutely. So question is, what are your hobbies? Baby Love X, what are your hobbies?
Well, when I'm not on a loud stage, around a lot of people and a lot of lights and a lot of fog and a lot of strangers staring at me and looking at me, I like to sit in a dark room by myself.
Okay.
And then I like to play like the sports game or whatever, but I like to have Frank Sinatra on the radio, and I like to have my patio open where I could see the Luxor light, and I like to hear Frank Sinatra in the background. And I like to make little small hors d'oeuvres like olives and stuff like that. And I like to walk around and pace around and listen to music and just kind of just relax and think of the old vintage Vegas. And I'll watch little documentaries on the 60s and 70s when the Rat Pack was here. And just there's something about living in the city and watching those documentaries. It hits a little different as opposed to watching it in Omaha, Nebraska or somewhere else. I can't explain it. But anyway, I like to do that. I like to go to the gym. Obviously, I like to go to the sauna and the steam room. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like it breathes very well. I like to do the eucalyptus. I can't run anymore now that I found out I have a hip impingement. I found out when I'm 50. So I've been playing baseball and doing all these things my whole life, not knowing that my balls aren't of my hips aren't in the socket. So I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So anyway, now I'm just a little more conscious on the shoes I wear and the workouts that I do. I like to make some food. I like to cook. I'm not a chef, but I like to cook things that I like to eat. Breakfast, eggs and potatoes and stuff like that. And at night, steak and a sweet potato with a salad or stuff like that.
Yes.
I like 80s movies from the mid 80s, like I told you earlier. That's about it, like just trying to search for the truth, not, what I mean? But it's weird when you're surrounded by people who don't really care for that because they make you think you're an alien or something. But whatever. Hey, while they're sitting back there, I'll be moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I love your energy, Brian. You were so approachable that night that I met you, and you're just so.
Well, because we were done. We were finished. We were. Now, if you would have caught me walking to the gig, I probably would have ignored you. I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, okay, but your energy.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I love your energy. Just sitting in here and talking with you, and just you're so authentic. That's what I get from you, that your authenticity, which I love. There's nothing fake about you. You're very real. Your experiences. I so appreciate you. And I need to get to Old Red and definitely sit through a whole set.
I mean, come on down.
I will. I'm coming down to sit through a whole set. Now, tell me again, when's your next? So tell people who just joined in, what are your nights at Old Red, and refresh me.
Right. We'll be there Wednesday night, 10 to 2 a.m. And then Friday, we're going to be there this week, 3 to 7. And then I'm at Jason Aldeen's 4 to 8 p.m. this week. And not this Sunday, but the last few Sundays, we've been there at Old Red, 6 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
So maybe we'll settle into something a little more solid in January. It's They have the NFR thing happening the next couple of weeks. So I'm thinking in January there might be a little more solid schedule.
So the next Sunday, so I would love to come to the Sunday, the 6 to 10. So it's not on calendar right now for the next Sunday, is what I'm hearing.
Not this Sunday, November 30th, but the following Sunday.
Okay.
I think we'll be there. Yeah.
Okay, I will be there. I'm going to put that on my calendar.
We were supposed to play there this Sunday, but there's a private party buyout.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to put that on my calendar. Let me just confirm that. And I like Old Red as opposed to Jason Aldeen, because with YouTubers, with streamers, with our camera, Jason Aldeen is laying down.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, they don't like it. But Old Red, love it.
Wow,
So,
that's cool.
Yeah. So let me just look at my calendar so everybody will know. And I'm going to stream it too when I come. So you will be there the 7th, December 7th, which is
Sunday.
Sunday, December 7th, after the 30th.
6 to 10. Yeah.
So everybody, you heard it right now here. I will also be at Old Red Sunday, December 7th, to come and stream, do a live stream. And so people can watch your band. And I just love your energy and whatnot.
The pressure's on. No, you know what? There's nothing compared to that one night when them guys came to me and they told me, "You're gonna have to sing tonight." What? Yeah, you know what? I've already been scared out of my shoes. I'm good.
And Lenny says with all due, because I do the Talk Tuesday, he goes, with all due respect to the others, this is the greatest interview so far. So he's saying that you are a great interview.
Right on. Thank you, Lenny. Shout out to you, man.
Yes. So what are your plans for Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, since I don't have any family here in town or anything like that, they're all back in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy here that throws a gathering where all of us musicians get together.
Nice.
And we're all going to just probably hang there. And there's another Thanksgiving. I think the drummer in the band and Hot Sauce is throwing something, but we'll see. I think one of the guys said, well, if that one sucks, we'll go to yours afterwards.
So
shout out to the Hot Sauce band.
Yes.
Greg, all the way from Rochester, New York. Greg Babcock on the drums, ladies and gentlemen. And he plays with Sheena Easton also. Ain't that weird?
Yeah.
So when he leaves, when he can't play with Hot Sauce, it's because he's playing with Sheena. And then on guitar from Sydney, Australia, we got Mr. Glenn McCollum, who's played with Louis Prima Jr. and he's done all kinds of stuff. And then we got on bass from Henderson, Texas, Jimmy Rep, who does all the rock and roll stuff, and he's played with all kinds. He played with Ryan White Maloney, who just passed on earlier this year. He was a great artist here in town. And Jimmy's on bass, and then we got Monique Olivas on the fiddle and vocals, and she sings too. And you already know her. Yeah, she sings too. Yeah. Fiddle, violin. It depends on where you're at, what they call it. If it's an orchestra, it's a violin. If it's a country band, it's a fiddle. And then, so Monique, her. She works with all kinds. I mean, she's worked with who in the business, and then there's me.
So your band, Hot Sauce Band, is well seasoned. You guys are seasoned.
They're great musicians individually. That's why the band is so hot, because they're all great players. They're all of them. All.
Well, we will. You guys listening now, we will definitely show up at ORED. I haven't really sat there at ORED, so I'm going to be a guest. I'm going to come and get my seat on that floor.
Yeah.
And have a drink.
Make sure you say hi.
I'm going to say hi to you. Definitely. Thank you so much. And before we go, you guys, we are like already 2 minutes from an hour. Do you guys have any last question or anything you want to ask Brian or say to him? Again, you guys, let me put where you can find him at Instagram, Hot Sauce Band Las Vegas. Please go check him out, subscribe. YouTube at Brian Doria. And then again, you can go to his website, and that's where you post information about what's going on with your band, how to download your music, the different platforms for your music. And so definitely check that out. And thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you. Where will I be able to find this interview to be able to share to my friends and all that?
So I'm on YouTube. So you see this? Okay. Let me see. Do I have it at the banner? Okay. I'm going to put it right here. It's basically you just go at, I'm typing it.
Okay.
And I'm going to show it I'll show it. So when you go to YouTube, when you search, just put at Vegas Unlocked.
Okay.
And it's going to be in the live section.
Okay.
Talk Tuesday. But you know what? I will send you the link and make it more easier for you. When it uploads, I'll send, because we communicate on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I will post the link for you in Instagram, and then you'll be able to play it.
Yeah.
Play it back and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. you know, I love talking about kind of how everything kind of pieced together, you know, and if it helps anyone out there, all I could say is whatever you love and whatever you're truly passionate about. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but stay consistent. Consistency.
Mhm.
That's what's going to keep you right in the middle. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be bad. But if you stay consistent, it'll finally give to where you will have a little, I don't know, I guess where it's not comfortable, but where the belt will loosen up just a little bit for
Yeah.
you, where you can see the rock starting to roll by itself, and you just kind of let it walk itself. You know, just
Right.
stay consistent, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. When things don't go good, still celebrate that.
Right.
There's beauty in that. There's a
It-
reason. There's a reason. It's
there-
for it's for later on in life for you to look back and say, "Oh wow, there's a reason for everything." Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you for saying that. I totally believe in that. In the grind, when you're in the grind and you're just, but embrace it, right?
Embrace the chaos.
Embrace it. And then Renee has said, no question, and she's our lady mod. She just wants to thank you for being such a great guest.
Thank you, Renee.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much, Brian. And I
Come
will
by the Instagram sometime. Everyone, just follow us on Instagram, and you know, the music's on Spotify and all that. The videos of Rosemary and One More Chance and all that stuff is on YouTube.
yes. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, happy
Happy
holidays.
Thanksgiving. Happy holidays.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks
Okay. Thank you.
At
Thank
ORED.
you. Thank you, guys.
ORED. And all right. So good night, you guys.
All right.
Have a wonderful holiday week. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.